We have people from all over the world on this phone call. So again, number one thing I'm going to start off with is this is a call about solutions. This isn't a call about discussing, everything that's going up or down or left or right. This is a movement forward. We are taking a look as a business coach. I'm saying we have a week by week snapshot. This is this is uncharted territory. However, there are measurables that are starting to show up. When we're on the calls with the European realtors and we're on the calls with USA realtors and all that kind of great stuff and the Canadian ones, we're just really monitoring everything. So I'm going to give you the best patterns that I'm seeing and where I believe that we should pivot. My opinions and my discussions, guys, fully transparent with that. They might not be for everybody on this call. Okay, so if you hear ideas, it doesn't mean to go like a wild coyote and execute them. It means to sit back and decide if you want to go that direction. That's the direction you should go. And if you don't worry about it. Okay, some people are seeing this in different ways, and you got to really just respect that when we're on uncharted territories. My number one job is to get you guys as small business owners through this 1 week at a time. I'm super proud of our first week. So I'm not going to hide behind the fact that I'm not proud of that. I'm very proud of everybody that we coach, and I'm proud how you guys have showed up, and I absolutely freaking love it. Okay, so Monday's calls had a shit ton of ideas. Today we're going to carry through with more of them. Here's the thing that we're noticing. The social economic pattern, guys. The first thing that I want you guys to really get through your head is by the end of this weekend, number one thing that you guys should do is you should be physically on the phone, one-on-one, mano-to-mano, calling everybody you know. If you're going to do email and you're going to do text messaging and you're going to do all that stuff, or video, and you think that that's going to be good enough, it's not. This is a time where you pick up the phone and you reach out to every person that you have a phone number for. If it's a past lead, if it's a current client, if it's a past client, if it's a friend, if it's a family member, if it's a neighbor, if it's a service provider, if it's a business owner, you pick up the phone and you talk to them. Everybody has to understand is that there is a sense of panic with people, and it's not that it's warranted or not. That's not what we're here to discuss. Everybody sees the world in different ways. So our job, though, is to understand as real estate agents, we have an obligation. If we're there for our clients, because guess what? Maybe they're scared. Maybe they're watching too much news and it's doom and gloom. Their programming can be very different than our programming. So we may say, hey, this isn't really that big of a deal. We're going to ride it out for 30 days. Take yourself out of your own head and look at what's going on around you. Okay? And understand that if people's biggest financial investments is real estate, it's their house, then we also have to understand that the number one thing to do is not to send an email, not to send a text, is to pick up a phone and ask how people are doing. Watch out, because we made a mistake a week and a half ago. We started making our phone calls right away. But then what we didn't do is we didn't add the word real estate in it. So we ended up with 30-minute rabbit hole conversations, which is not where you want to go. We ended up with conversations about, quarantining and how tough it is. We ended up with, what do you think I should do? Should I be a cook for a day? I saw my neighbor came back from vacation. They were out there. We don't want to really get in those conversations. Be really succinct. So we're going to go into messaging for a second. Your messaging and scripting around that, in my opinion, again, you may or may not agree with it, but your messaging should be more real estate specific. So it should be a phone call just saying, hey, listen, it's Mary-Anne Gillespie, the Gillespie Home Team. You know me, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing real estate calls today because I know some people have, real estate is their biggest investment, and there may be questions you have right now, concerns you have, and I want to just gather them. I may or may not have the answer, but I want to just hear if you have any concerns at all. Now, before you make these calls, I'm challenging every one of you to look at your statistics for 1 week. You got to look at Friday the 13th till Friday today, okay? And I honestly don't have a clue what the date is today because I've been working so hard. So I'm going to take a stab and say it's 7 days after the 13th, so we're probably like the 20th? Yeah, I think that's it, or oh my God. Anyway. So it's somewhere in March right now. But do 1 week market statistics. And I want you to search your market statistics for actives from Friday the 13th to today, conditionally sold firm, or if you're in the States, under agreement. Okay, so that's what you're really looking at. Most of you, I believe 98% of markets right now are showing hyperactivity. The reason why we're probably seeing hyperactivity, guys, is you have to remember in some places a week and a half ago, markets were on fire. People, multiple offers of 20, 30, 40 houses, listings coming up. This is peak season for almost everybody around the world. So all these people didn't know this was coming because this has come like a wrecking ball, like Miley Cyrus song. I feel like we should be playing that on auto play right now. Anyway, so long story short, people didn't know that this was going to happen. So understand, all the people who sold their house thinking that they were going to buy a house or that was the advice that they were given, they're in panic mode right now. Okay, so that's a critical thing. So we've got to be a little bit optimistic with what we're seeing in the market right now. This is very typical in the studies that I've looked at. It shows that typically in pandemics or surges like this, you're going to see a shift upwards in the market. That is why servicing your current clients and all the people who need us right now, that's become more critical than ever. People, somebody emailed me the other day and they said, I don't really think I agree with you that we should be, selling houses and buying houses. And I said, well, that's your opinion. So you can go and you can do whatever you want to do. I said, but I'm more concerned about the people who are abandoned right now. That's about messaging. Okay, are you open for business? There is nothing wrong. I do not want to see realtors shaming each other, going, oh, you're posting listings or you're posting this. I want you to think about all the people that are out there who need us more than ever right now. That's what you need to be focusing on. Is this the time to be looking for new listing clients, like meaning, oh, you should sell, let's lead generate? You're not probably going to be received very well. What I'm talking about is all the people across the world who housing-wise need our help right now. And if you look at your sales in January and February in your boards, you can take a look and see how much things were moving at an early pace, and those people, what are they supposed to do? Do you want them to be homeless? Because I'm not prepared to let people be homeless. I'm prepared about bringing solutions to them, and if that means solutions, that's why we're on this call today. So love it or hate it, let's really realize that there's a lot of people that didn't see this coming, especially if you're looking at yourself and saying, I didn't think I'd be quarantined for 14 days, that kind of thing. That's what we're talking about. All the people who are going to be homeless because they have closings happening. So take a look at your market stats for the last 7 days. When you're making those database calls or those calls to people, that is going to relieve a little bit of pressure off of them. There's a misconception. I was talking to my running group the other day, and they were saying, oh my God, the market's crashing, isn't it? Isn't it? It must be terrible in real estate. And I said, well, I hate to be the kind of deciding factor here, but I said, if you look at our board stats right now, they've peaked. The peaking won't last. It shouldn't last. You got to remember, this is that urgency of all the people who are going, oh my God, I'm going to be homeless now. There's an urgent need for listings, and there is an urgent need for people to put the buyers into houses in more creative ways. I don't believe this is the time to be doing open houses. We covered that on Monday's call. You can be doing 15-minute virtual open houses by appointment. People can sign up. They can do really cool shit with that. We covered that on Monday's call. We don't need to repeat that. Okay? So when you're making the calls, my scripting around that should be something along the lines of, hey, it's Mary-Anne. I'm calling from Gillespie Home Real Estate. Just checking in with you. I know a lot of people, their biggest financial investment is their house. Are you concerned at all? Do you have any questions that I can help you with or at least get you answers to? Let them just talk about that, okay? If it gets out of real estate, you got to steer them back. This is the purpose of the calls. Then the next thing you're going to want to do is, don't forget, you have to help everybody. Okay, so just ask the question. Just say, hey, listen, by the way, I want to share with you the market stats for the last 7 days in our city. Just even if you don't need help, you should just hear this. Let them know what the stats are. Give them a little bit of relief, because if they can tell 10 other people that the first week was okay, we may be helping somebody who's under a lot of stress right now. We may give them a little bit of a breather. That's my goal of that. Then just ask them the question. Say, listen, your friends are our friends. Do you have anybody that's in a situation where they need to talk to a realtor, a mortgage rep, or anything that I can do to help mitigate it and give them a little bit of hope or direction or relief? Okay? Very important to do that. That is, yes, you are technically building your database and your referrals, but the bigger point is that you're there for people. Okay? I'm seeing a lot of people on Facebook and other things, and this may sit very well with some people, maybe not. You guys are small business owners. I love seeing how many people want to help other people and bring meals and bring other things like that. But you have to also remember that our role as small business owners is to protect our companies, to protect the people that we've supported, to protect our employees. We have to do that. We are at the highest risk if we don't take care of our companies or our business, and we don't take care of other people. We are a high risk field right now. So it's important that we all bond together. There are a lot of people who are at home right now Netflixing because they have paychecks coming in right now and they're safe and okay. That would be 50% of my city is actually government and city workers, and they're all at home. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad. I'm saying those are the people that I'd like to see say, hey, you know what? I don't want to watch Netflix, or I'm not interested in repairing my cupboard at home today. How can I drop off meals to the elderly? I understand that it's compassionate for us because we're very compassionate people because we understand them as business owners. However, our time now is to help small business owners and people who have real estate needs. Okay, it's time that we bond together with that. So I'm not saying stop all your marketing or things like that. I'm just saying, what message are you showing as real estate agents that you're there to help with the real needs that are happening with our clients right now, okay, with the public right now. So I'm going to give you an idea, okay, because this is what these calls are all about. That's why they're going viral. So I'm going to give you some ideas. For example, where I am, I mean, everybody knows I'm Canadian. Shocking. I'm French Canadian, so that's just, gives me a little bit more power here. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. My French is terrible, if you know that. All my French teams know. They're like, no, her French is really bad. Okay, but I'm still French Canadian. Anyway, the point is this, okay? If you look at what's happening right now, here's an idea, okay? Every airline in my country right now, so that would be Air Canada, Porter, and WestJet, those three major airlines that are operating in our country, they're all going to be on hiatus till June 1st. You're going to see that industry is going to experience one of the biggest layoffs that there possibly could be. Understand that people who get laid off, they own investment properties, they own other properties. They may not have prepared for this because, like I said, who did prepare for this? I'd like to know, other than Bill Gates, which, I think he prepared for it. If you watch that 2015 video, looks like he knew something was going to happen at some point. But anyway, the point is that the airline industry is going to take a really big hit. They're already announcing massive layoffs. So you guys as real estate agents, that is going to provide a lot of fear in those guys. Okay, so anybody in the airline industry, what are you doing to help them? Okay, do you know somebody that works at Porter? Do you know Air Canada people? Now, my early adopters who are on this call, please, the biggest thing before I continue, I understand you want to be the first ones to launch ideas. You want to be the first one that puts on Facebook, hey, if you lost your jobs in the airlines, you know what, come to us. I get that. Please be cautious about your messaging at this time. Please, this is not about, being the first one to execute and going, yeah, I can get a bunch of clients with this. I truly am coming from a place where I want us to help, which means give it a chance, talk it over with your teams, talk it over with other people, and really cut your marketing departments or whoever you're talking to, get a second opinion. Is this post appropriate? Is this message appropriate? Those of you who are early adopters, don't worry, okay? You don't have to be the first one to put an idea out there, okay? This is serious, and I don't want us to be looking like we're a group of people who are opportunists. I want us to be looking and saying we actually cared enough to execute, launch, and do this a professional way, that you really did give it consideration. So what I'm talking about is that all the layoffs that are happening in the airline industry, my suggestions around stuff like that is we need to help them. They're going to have mortgage questions. There may be deferral options that they have to go through. There may be fear and panic, and they just need to have a little bit of relief going, okay, what did the market do in the last 7 days? My point is that you can be creative. You can look up on Facebook, LinkedIn, all that stuff. You can search your city, and you can search people who say that they're a flight attendant as a job. You can search WestJet employees, Air Canada. It's all available to you. So find those people and maybe do a targeted ad where you can have a Q&A for people who just got laid off. That's what you should be doing. We should be helping people. That's what we're there for. I don't know if they all need help. I don't know that. But I can tell you I'd like to be there for them. I want to be the people and the coaching clients that we have. I want us to be the ones who are sincerely looking and going, you know what? The airline industry is going to be hit hard. These guys are going to be laid off till June, which means that they're going to have little income, which means they may need to sell properties. They may need to refinance their properties. They may need to speak to a mortgage rep about deferral payments. How can we help them? That's my question. This is our industry. I love Meals on Wheels and things like that and all that kind of great stuff, but who is helping all the airline people who just got laid off? Let's be creative. Let's come from a place inside where we can go, look, this is our job. This is what we should be helping them with. And yes, there's going to be a ton of them who are living paycheck to paycheck, who have to make a decision whether or not they sell an investment property. Maybe they sell theirs. Maybe they go into a rental. You have to remember, somebody said to me this morning, we had a great coaching call around this kind of topic. And I said, look, it's not about going, yeah, I'm going to get 15 listings. And it's not about saying, oh, you know what? Why should they sell? There's a deferral program. You know why? Because some people find it really freaking stressful to lose their job until June. That's why. And maybe it's not a great idea that they sell their house at this time, but maybe that's what's going to give them peace of mind to sleep at night. And maybe that's what they need. Okay, it's not up to me to judge. It's up to me to give them the best support I can as a licensed real estate agent. So that's creative idea number one. If you look at our military, our Canadian military has thousands of relocations happening every year. You're seeing a lot of posts right now that in the last 48 hours, they got letters for 3 weeks. Okay, so they basically have their relocations. Thousands of people are moving across Canada in the Canadian military for relocations. America is the exact same thing. So all the relocations have been postponed for at least 3 weeks. They got their letters in the last 48 hours. Wonderful. Who's going on to the Facebook group administrators for? By the way, they have Facebook groups, military does, and there's military connections and military HR in the Canadian military, all that kind of stuff. Reach out to your database. Who knows people in the Canadian military that need help? Here's the biggest opportunity there. They're scared because 3 weeks, they don't know. Their house was valuated probably 2 weeks ago, and their house may have been valuated, let's say, at $500,000. They're probably wondering, what is the next 3 weeks going to look like for the value of my house? Because I'm just about to do that. What does that mean? Okay, so we want to go. How do we reach out to them? How's it about you come up with a webinar or a Q&A for any of the Canadian military that's wondering what the market did in the past 7 days in your area, what the market is maybe looking like what we should do in the next 7 days. Also, can we keep them posted? I would personally be offering the Canadian military saying, look, guys, here's my suggestion. Get onto their Facebook groups, like ask the administrator, can I do a Q&A? Can I gather, or maybe the administrator gathers questions and brings them back to you, and you can do up a document, or you can do like I'm doing, a 1-hour call where we're giving great advice and stuff. But here's the thing. There is opportunity because, like Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough people with what they want, they will help you with what you want. It's not instant gratification. This is our way as realtors in the world to stand up and say, you know what? Yeah, shit's real, man. Shit is tough for a lot of people. It may not be affecting you because you've been smart. You have closings coming up, and we can pull commissions out of things, and we can refi, and we know all this stuff. So our comfort level is pretty good. Real estate doesn't stop. It never does. We have to pivot, though. So our worlds may not be as screwed up or as affected or as stressed out. But I'll tell you right now, if I was in the Canadian military, I'd be wondering, I was in the hottest market, am I going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars? Because that is stressful for people. That is stressful for the people who support our country. We need to be there for those people. That's the Canadian military, man. So, like, let's step up to the plate. And again, this is not those early adopters on the call. I am coming for you. If I see all over Facebook, Canadian military, we're here to help. Like, listen, don't just put your ads out there and be like, oh, I'm going to do this. Take the time, do it the right way, be sensitive. Do not get out there and start bombarding people with tacky stuff, okay? This is about really helping. So I want to be really crystal clear about that. That's the number one thing, okay? Now, onwards and upwards. All right, so that's idea number two. I'm really like stressing that, as you can see, right? So the next thing that you want to do, and by the way, this next week and a half is revenue generating time for you guys. You got to be looking for all those people that need our help. So here's idea number three. In your brokerages, you need to reach out to the owners and the managers of your brokerage and ask them who are the agents that are either quarantined for the next 14 days because they just came back from out of country, who are the agents that are not comfortable showing houses or taking listings, or they're just not tech savvy or whatever the case is. Who are those agents? Offer to help. Again, coming from contribution. I'm not saying help them for free. I'm saying I know personally, yes, we have 700 clients. We have a good maybe 20 right now that are under 100% quarantine for 14 days. They just got back from out of countries. They're under quarantine for 14 days. They need help. So, you know what, go. We're going to be funneling them out. We've already partnered certain people up with certain people. But again, not everybody is comfortable. Not everybody is okay, you know, with showing places or whatever the case is, okay? So make sure that that's a contingency thing. Put it on your Facebook group sites. By the way, if you're not comfortable, put it on your company site. If you're not comfortable showing houses, I'm not saying I will, but I'm saying if you need help because you're either quarantined or you're not comfortable, or you need help because you're not tech savvy and you don't know how to make this all digital, then list, you know, come to me. Let's talk about listing together. Let's talk about how we can make something work together on this, okay? That's the right thing to do. Now, I'm going to full disclosure as well. I'm very clear. If you're showing houses to people who are unqualified, that is the number one thing you need to do. If somebody calls you because they're quote unquote bored and they quote unquote, oopsie, I got to make sure that I'm actually on this call. Hang on. I may have just been lost, so give me 2 seconds. Let's see. I want to make sure. Okay, I should still be on this call. If I'm not, we got a problem. Let me see. Okay, so I should be okay. Fingers crossed. If you can't hear me, then we'll have to record this whole thing again. Anyway, but I should be all right. So I'm going to just take a look again. And the only reason I'm saying this, guys, is like I said, we have a lot of people on these calls. So I'm just making sure that we got it. Perfect. We're still good. Awesome. Yay, technical fun. All right, so where was I? Oh, yeah. So really be careful about people who want to show houses because they either or want to see houses because they don't feel that this is serious, or they're like, this is a great time. I can go look at one house. It's not going to hurt. It's vacant anyway. That is probably the worst image that you can go through right now. Make sure what we're doing is if people are coming through and they're asking our clients and they're going, hey, you know what, I want to go take a look at houses. If you don't know this person as a qualified, serious buyer, it's up to you, but you have to ask, really, can I see your approval? Can I see all that? When we were on the call with Kim the other day, she was very clear about that. They should be able to provide you the affordability, the pre-approval letter, the whole 9 yards. If they can't do that and you're taking somebody who is not qualified to be buying houses out in this time period, I don't agree with that. I'm just letting you know. Don't agree with open houses. Don't agree with showing random people. I believe that this is our time to help the people who truly need, because they're going to be homeless. This is our opportunity. If you have an investor client and the investor client's like, I don't care, I know this is a great deal. Great. Do what we suggested last week. Virtual tours, work with the agents on seeing different pictures, things like that. Get the people to take tours. If there's tenants in a place, we're getting the tenants to do 15-minute video walkarounds, and they're sending it over to us, and we're saying, thank you, we appreciate that. And then just schedule a 24-hour walkthrough after it's firmed up. I had somebody push back on that the other day. They're like, I don't agree with that. And I'm going, look, there's people who actually do want to have real estate transactions. I'm not going to stop them. However, I'm going to ask them to work with my creativity on this. And I don't believe we should just be showing houses to people who aren't ready to buy them. And if they're ready to buy them, here's all the pictures and information and statistics on the house, everything you've got. You can drive by it if you want. Just don't knock on the door. Do you love the house? If you do, great. Let's put an offer in. And let's make it conditional upon you viewing the house 24 hours after accepted. You good with that? Great. You good with not bringing kids in the house? You good with that? If they're serious, they're going to be able to provide you with that. Otherwise, I think you could be really doing us. Remember, people are shutting down their businesses. Okay, small business owners all over the countries are shutting down their businesses to try to respect quarantine periods, which means we need to do our part too. Urgent services means urgent clients. Simple as that. Okay. If this goes the way it should, then we'll be on the other side of this, hopefully, as one of the most damn impressive countries around. So And you know what? I'm very optimistic about that, as you can hear. So anyway, so that's my thing. Use creativity with that. Be careful of what you do with the virtual showings and whatnot. Next thing I want to suggest is an idea. Most offices have what we call exclusive listings. That means listings that aren't on the market yet. Okay? So 2 things I want you to do. First thing, how many vacant properties are in your office? And I'm talking office. This is a time where you guys as office members, you guys, excuse me, you guys need to come together. So I would compose a list, and I don't care if you work for Keller Williams, Royal LePage, or Remax. This ain't the time to be like, this agent works for this company, you suck. You suck at this company, you suck at that company. I do not believe in that. You guys know. I am 12 years with Keller Williams. I am 4 years with Remax. I am absolutely, I coach every company there is, and I will tell you right now, I love all companies. Okay, I love Sotheby's, I love Remax, I love Century 21, I love Royal LePage, I love KW, I love every company. So because it's the agents that I love. Okay, I'm not associated as far as I'm concerned about any biases. If I can work with agents from every company and I can keynote at every company, then you guys can pull together and impress the shit out of us. This could be the moment that we can change the industry and we can work together. And really, this is that moment in history that's going to be awesome. So if you don't have a lot of vacant listings in your office, reach out to the local other offices that have a lot of vacant listings. Reach out to the agents and watch. The stories I'm hearing, I have goosebumps running all over my back right now, literally. And you know what? I'm sorry to give you that visual on a Friday, but you're getting it. Anyway, so I got goosebumps. I am like blown the F away. I spoke to a Remax agent this morning that was like, I reached out to my office and they stepped up to the plate. They reached out to another office, a competing brokerage. They stepped up to the plate. It's amazing to see companies working together. Frig, this is this is awesome. Anyway, so get a list of the vacant properties. What do I want you to do with the vacant properties? You know what? Talk to the listing agents and say, guys, what are you doing for the vacant properties? Okay, well, here's what we're doing. We're still showing them. We're making sure that, the agents maybe just agree that they're not sick or anything like that. We're hand sanitizer. Perfect. Then get that out there. Who is doing right now? Again, early adopters, please, please do this the right way. I love you guys, but I got to slow you down sometimes. Take a vacant property list. I haven't seen anybody. I know after today we'll see a lot of it. That's what I love. But take a vacant property list. Where are the vacant homes? Because there's people, like I said, who urgently aren't comfortable, but they urgently need to buy properties. Okay, well, the vacant properties are okay, I'm hearing, to get our urgent clients in to show them. They're the least risk right now for other people to feel comfortable. So vacant properties is a huge one. So put a list together and maybe every day post something on your site that says, here's 3 more properties that are vacant, boom, that are able to show. Here's 3 more. Again, we are not looking for you guys to show buyers who are just out going, yay, something to do. Let's go look at vacant homes. This is serious. And I want to be very important about this. This is about helping all the people who sold their houses and they didn't see this happening. They are going to be homeless. This is what I'm talking about with those A buyers. Okay, the homeless people who need places in the next 60 to 90 days or they're going to be homeless. They need to be seeing that there's vacant properties out there. So go through all the vacant properties in your office, create a list. Go, if your office doesn't have them, look at other brokerages, call the agent, be respectful, say, look, I understand, but for our A clients that are desperate, would you allow us putting your vacant property in our vacant property showcase list? Yes or no? Watch the magic happen. If you're an owner of a brokerage right now, it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Just remember to stress the fact it is extremely, again, I'll say it again, I'm not condoning showing houses to random people who decided that they're bored or they don't believe that this is serious. This is to help the people who absolutely need to buy a house because they did not see this happening, and I give a shit about those people, okay? It's important. And again, that's an important thing to do, okay? So now in the exclusive listing, okay, same thing. Go through all your exclusive listings, reach out to the agents who have exclusive listings in your offices, Bigger brokerages are sitting on about 50 or so. It's spring market. So remember, there's a ton of exclusive listings that haven't come on the market yet. So make sure you reach out, talk to the agents in your office. What's the status of this? Can you let us market this? Can you not let us market this? What are we doing with this? There are lots of hidden houses out there. And the deals, by the way, we're seeing in brokerages, they're happening like this, communicating with other agents. Okay, that's what's happening. The house sales are actually happening on the exclusive listings. We're just working them. Hey, do you have a buyer? If you have a buyer that's in urgent need, perfect. Get them into a house. Exclusive listings is a great way to do it. Now, for listing clients that are desperate to put their house on the market, because again, a ton of people, I know in my city, in January and February, ran out and they bought houses. Now they're scared to death. You know why? Because they don't know if they should list their house or not. I am not here to tell you if it's right or wrong. Your brokerage has policies. Please consult with your brokerage. If they're not supporting you guys to list houses at this time, that is up to you. Okay, I can't tell you, don't put me in the position where, I'm the good or bad cop here. I'm only giving ideas and suggestions the best that I can. But I know that there's a bunch of people who bought houses and now they're panicking going, I'm not comfortable having people in my houses and I have to sell it. Okay, what do you do with those people? Again, we sent our brokerage an email this morning. You guys saw the letter that we created. 99% of people like the letter, 1% may not like the letter. Okay, it's a screening process to make our clients, but we're getting a lot of listing clients saying that they want some kind of protection that we're not doing. Just those bored people showing their house, and maybe they've traveled out of the country. There's a lot of rules that you have to watch with that. So please, if you're going to use that letter, I put it in the email. Make sure you check with your brokerage. It is critical that you get legal approval to use documents before you do. So everything you're seeing on the internet, including what we post, you need to make sure that your brokerage supports it. Okay, it's not the Wild West. They're under a lot of new rules, a lot of new things right now. You just have to watch out for that and be respectful of it, okay? Now, here's the thing. If you know people that have cottages or whatever. So what we've suggested to some people is if people are urgently in need of selling their house, the easiest way to probably protect themselves is to have the house vacant for a time period. So look up options for Airbnb, VRBOs, look up people, do you have a network, and have you asked your database who owns a cottage? If somebody had to go to the cottage for 30 days because they needed to sell their house because they bought a house and now they're panicking, is that a viable option? Again, that's a great idea. So if you do have that and you have an Airbnb or you have a VRBO, or again, if you know somebody who has a cottage and they're willing to rent it out for 30 days or so, wonderful idea for your listing clients is to say, hey, I understand you bought a house. And if you don't think this is real, by the way, guys, we have 700 clients. I wouldn't be talking about this if we didn't have at least 25% of our clients bring something as a concern to us. And about 25%, if not more, have said, I told my clients to sell their house, to buy a house first because our market was so hot. Now they're panicking because they bought a house firm and they don't know and they're not comfortable listing their house and having random people walk through. So if that's the case, again, look at options. Where could they go for 30 or 60 days? Very simple. Vacate the premise and help them out. That's my thought process. How do you do that? Work with other realtors, work together. What are our options for that? Again, if I was messaging and marketing myself in the right way, that's the problem-solving person that I want you guys to be, is that look for it. Put yourself out there. Be like, hey, who bought a house in the last 60 days and needs a place to go, and now you're worried about listing your house? Those are viable things. Another thing you want to do, shout out to Rachel and Neil. I love you guys, but I'm so proud of them. We gave them an idea about Q&As and doing Q&A calls. Q&A calls are really critical at this time, and I haven't seen a lot of realtors doing that. I've actually seen a lot more realtors offering to drop off meals, which, by the way, I don't understand. We're on lockdown right now. There are plenty of places that will deliver meals, plenty of places that are doing it for free. There are services available for that. I don't really think that the right message, in my opinion, with all the people who are having housing issues or crises right now, I think our message should be very much about our industry, and we should be very much about supporting all the people who need our help the most right now. So in my opinion, I obviously, like I said, I don't necessarily agree with dropping off pies or villages or whatever and hand sanitizer or toilet paper or anything like that. I think our message has to be very clear and concise about where we're going with the, how we can help you guys. So that's a critical thing that we're really looking at as far as that goes. Onwards and upwards. Okay, let's keep going with it. So, I feel like I haven't stopped talking in 37 minutes, guys. I've kept it going as far as not breathing. Anyway, so here's the thing. Your messaging of Q&As, like I just talked about, is critical too. Okay, open it up to your database, open it up to other people, open it up to companies, reach out, like I was saying about the military, like I was saying about the airline layoffs, offer it out. Okay, reach out and build rapport and be like, hey, I'm willing to do a Q&A for everybody at Porter Airlines, but I'm not going to use it as a social media post and be like, hey, I'm here for everybody who got laid off in Porter. What can I do to help you? No, do something a little bit more to show that, you've got time to do it. Reach out to your database and say, hey, who works in an airline company in my database? I really like to talk to you guys and set something up so I can help. Reach out and do a Q&A for Porter Airlines. Reach out and do a Q&A for Air Canada, the people in your city. Reach out and do a Q&A with a mortgage representative like I did. Reach out and help people. You've heard that. I can't remember. Reach out and touch someone. I can't remember what it is anyway, but there's a slogan somewhere around about this. But the idea is be strategic about it, that you're doing it the right way. This is not the time that I'm worried about you guys getting social exposure. Okay, I'm not at all. That's not the right mindset I want to coach on. I want to coach on you guys seeing where are we most needed. Understand that if we help people now, we are doing great things for our industry. We're keeping it alive, but we're helping people, and that's the right image we want. The wrong image is images where we're kind of all over Facebook. And please, this is another thing I want to be really good about with your imaging. Be cautious. If you know that the airlines are laying people off until June, is it really appropriate to show images of how much fun you're having at home, or, oh, wow, look I just did this and I'm renovating, yoo-hoo? Is that really what you want as a small business owner to be looked at? Because I'm telling you, it's going to be really hard when this goes on the other side for you to reach out and talk to people and be like, hey, guess what? I had a great time being on lockdown for 2 weeks. I did so much work. I know you lost your job. Can I help list your house? That would be so gross on so many levels. I'm just letting you know it won't work. I've seen it happen before. So be really cautious about the image you want to see yourself represented. Okay, John Maxwell's always coached me on leadership. Okay, that is why I'm doing these calls. That is why I am pouring every ounce of what I have inside of me and in my head, in my heart, in my energy. Every ounce of what I have is to help you guys. So I'm not looking at being right or wrong. I'm not looking at any of that. I only want to help, period. So everything that I'm doing, posting, reaching out, I'm going, hey, I'm not asking people to register on a link. Some people had to because our lines are at capacity and they want to be part of the live calls. But every call is going to be posted. Why? Because I'm interested in freaking helping. I'm not interested in putting myself on social media as the oh, I want more coaching clients. We're at capacity. We don't have room for them right now anyway, believe it or not. So we don't have capacity for it. What I'm here to do is to say, be careful of your messaging. Okay, that's the thing. There are people talking in the background about a lot of different things that they're seeing. And if you know what other people are going through and you have empathy for that, then be cautious. It is not the time to be sitting there as business owners, not thinking about other business owners and going, woohoo! I'm not saying change your whole life. I'm just saying is, how do you think all the people who just got layoff notices feel? How do you think about our Canadian military who's protected us their whole freaking life and dedicated their lives to that? How do you think they feel not knowing what their house is going to be worth in 3 weeks? You know what? That's not fun. That's not fun at all. What about all the small business owners? Do you know my cleaner, what my cleaner went through? We have a corporate cleaner, and my cleaner was crying on the phone this week. And this is really hard for me to talk about, but my cleaner was crying on the phone this week saying that they worked so hard their whole life to do the right thing, not to gouge on prices, not to do that, to have contracts that can be canceled at any time. My cleaner was in tears saying that they worked their whole life for this, and now their company has gone under because 90% of their clients said they don't want them in their house, and they refuse to pay because obviously that's what it is. So I talked to the cleaner. I said, no, here's what you do. I said, you come to all of us and you say, look, if you can afford to pay me for the month, Okay, I will give you credit. I will do this. I will do that. But I need your support. If you can afford it, I need you to at least pay for it. And please, we'll make it up to you. We'll do a gift certificate, whatever it takes. Anyway, she started crying because she called me up 24 hours later and she says, I did what you said. And she goes, 70% of our clients paid us now. And she goes, you just saved my company. And I said to her, I go, you know what? I'll do it again for you because that's what I'm going to freaking do. And I don't want you to post it on social media. I don't want you to brag. I don't need credit for it. I did it because guess what? I got your freaking back because I know that not everybody is safe right now. Not everybody feels great about it. So what are you doing to help other businesses is the next part I want to go to. And again, like I said, I'm only saying that because for every one of us that feels very comfortable, and I know that I said at the beginning of the call that 700 of our clients are in production. Okay, you guys are going to be okay. All right, you're going to be fine. The real estate market, we have to pivot right now. You're going to be okay. Real estate still has to happen. It doesn't shut down entirely forever. It's just pivoting and doing different things. And this is our time to help, and it comes back to us. Okay, so be really cautious about what you're showing on the internet because there's other people who are really, they're on the last straw or they just had the worst news. One of my close friends just got laid off yesterday. Terrible, so I'm helping them pivot their business. Look at this really cool guy. He's in Calgary, I think. I watched him on the news yesterday. He owns a brewery. Instead, he changed his whole brewery, so he's now making hand sanitizer. And he's like, I'll do whatever it takes. Sometimes we have to pivot our businesses. So that brings me into the next part. We're all small business owners. Are we doing the right thing to help get in front of other business owners and support their businesses? Remember what I said about Zig Ziglar. Do we help enough people get what they want? They will help us get what we want, not immediately, but down the road. That's what business to business is. We all help each other, and that's what we're here for. Okay, and I've given you great ideas to help grow your business, but listen to this. So, small business owners, are we doing anything? You guys have some great mad skills. Maybe you're not as out of the box thinking as I am, and I'm okay with that, but do some webinars. Host a webinar on an evening or something, or even in the morning. Host a webinar and be like, hey, who are my local business owners in the city that are on the verge of shutting down? Who are you guys? And be like, I'm going to do a call at 8 o'clock in the morning. And remember, leverage experts. I'm being asked to do about six minimum different calls a day for people I don't even know. And they're saying, listen, I heard you have a lot of out-of-box ideas. I heard you're really great at saving companies. I heard you can pivot in when it's tough conditions, you're the one who rises to the top. Can you help us? I have said yes to everyone. I've said yes to everyone. Yes, I'm up till 4 o'clock every morning and I'm busting my ass off, but I said yes to everyone, and I know I'm making a difference. I'm not asking for anything in return. I don't want anything in return. If I can save people, if I can help people, that's my goal. So again, I'm not saying give me, I'm pretty busy, so I'm being honest. But what I am saying is that, you know what? I had one of my favorite teams that I coached. They sent me a team in Gary Keller's mastermind. An owner is struggling. He needs some help right now with his agents. He's in an area that's suffering a little bit, and some of his agents aren't ready for it. Well, guess what? I raised my hand. I'm like, what can I do to help? Let's go. I'll do a call. So it's the same thing with you guys. If you know local businesses that are struggling, raise your hand, get some experts around and help them. Do a conference call at 8 o'clock in the morning. Be like, small business owners in my city, push it out there. Be like, who's having problems? Who needs help? I have a mindset coach. Get the mindset coach on there and be like, here's what you have to do. But most people right now want solutions, which is why we're on this call. So that's a great way, though. Think about it. If you're in your community and you have a mastermind, everybody talks about B&Bs. What is it? B&Bs? What is it? Oh my God, those breakfast meetings. Okay, God, I don't belong to any. I'm too wild and crazy. No, but those morning things, those breakfast things where you have those meetings and everybody's like, it's so hard. This is the time where it's like, okay, well, where are those meetings happening right now? They're not. Okay, so guess what you can do? Pivot your business. How can you take your skills and help other businesses in your area? I'm going to give you a creative idea as well. So one of the guys that I love him, Scott, he's just great. He's a realtor. He lives in my neighborhood. And I absolutely love this guy. And anyway, long story short, he posted something on Facebook. His name's Scott Moore. He's just great. And he posted this thing on Facebook yesterday. And he's like, hey, listen, there's a butcher shop. He says that normally supplies to corporate and things like that. Like they're pretty, they have bigger supplies and stuff like that. He goes, obviously with companies shutting down, he's totally lost his catering. He's lost all that stuff. So he's in a lot of trouble. And he's like, he's a small business owner just like us. And he's like, here's the scoop. He's created freezer packages. He's like, is there anybody, if you can support him, he's going to go out of business if we don't support him. What can you do? I'm not even shitting you. That was just to the real estate community. There has to be 65 orders that were placed. This guy's business just got saved. Okay. What does he think about the realtors right now? I guarantee you he thinks we're pretty badass because we just saved his company. Second thing, I'm pretty sure Scott is probably the person that he is going to be in debt the rest of his life to, because guess what? He stood up to the plate. He came up with a solution. He used his resources. He helped the small business owner. That is amazing. I have goosebumps with that. So if you are looking for instant gratification, Scott's not going to get instant gratification from that. But I'll tell you what Scott's probably going to do. Scott now is probably going to have every single person in that person's business is going to support Scott when we get to the other side of this. Why? Because Scott did something that saved a company. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's what we should be doing. Personal trainers that are out there. Okay, personal trainers right now, I mean, speaking to somebody who works at 16 hours a week, I'm jonesing. I'm going to have honestly, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm like, I hope that we can actually still go outside because I don't know what's going to happen to me. But anyway, the point is that, personal trainers that I know, they called me up and they're like, I don't know what to do. Should I just go to people's houses? What should I be doing? I said, no, you shouldn't be going to people's houses. Move your business online. How can I help? So I sent an email to our database and I said, hey, I've got one of the best personal trainers there is. You know what? He's going to be offering 10 spots virtually. Any companies, any people, what do you need? You want to do a 1 hour video with him? He's going to do some extra time video. Anyway, long story short, I just saved his business. I just gave him a different revenue source. I'm not asking for anything from him. What's going to happen, though, is he's going to be really good. So they're saying jobless claims could go to about 1.5 million for our economy. That's how much joblessness is going to be happening. That's why I'm telling you to be careful about your social media posts. But what I am saying is if we can mitigate that as realtors, if we can come up with other business solutions and use our resources to really improve the economy, what do you think is going to happen to our businesses? We are going to be literally changing the public's perception of how we're worth our commission. When we do epic shit like this, what Scott did, what I'm doing, what my clients are doing, when we do epic shit, guess what? We're protecting our economy. We're protecting people's biggest investments. We are worth every penny of commission because now is the time where everything is changing and we're going to rise up, kind of like that whole Michelle Obama thing. Right? When everybody's going one way, we go the other way. We're doing what we have to do. So be creative, okay, guys? That's the thing that I want to say. I'm not saying that you guys have to, go and reach out and help everybody who's a small business owner. I'm saying, what could you do that that's a little outside the box that you can help people, right? That's really impressive. The flower industry right now, if they're going under, movie theaters, restaurants, everybody needs a little bit of help right now. So that whole posting thing, buy a gift card at a local business, that's okay. But how can we actually help seriously small business owners at this time of need? Look at their business. Do we have a way we can help them? Is there a certain product that we can pivot for them that we can share our network with? That's what we're doing right now. Because remember, real estate market continues to go. The closings are still happening. The sales are still going on. Everything's happening. So right now, all of this energy that we put in that's good has a return. It always does. If your mindset right now is we're taking a few weeks vacation and that's how it is, then please just keep that to yourself. I wouldn't be posting that anywhere. For the life of me, I wouldn't be posting that anywhere. I truly just believe that there's a lot of things happening compassion-wise. But getting back to it, Q&A, great one. Like I said, you can do Q&As. Home evaluations. You're going to start to hear our strategy around that. We're going to be accumulating strategies over the weekend. Again, you heard on Monday, you heard out-of-the-box strategies. Today, these are some of the best out-of-the-box strategies. We are going to challenge you guys just over the next 3 days Okay, so by Sunday, because I'm going to do another call on Monday, by Sunday, I want you guys to have your databases reached out to physically. Phone people. Do not hide. Okay. Next thing I'm going to get you guys to do is remember, if you send too many messages by Facebook, you will get blocked for spam. If you have people on your Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever the case is, again, we showed you some different strategies around people getting laid off and airlines. It's our job to help people at this time. If you're seeing, again, that on Facebook there's a ton of people that you don't have information on, don't be tacky, okay? Don't be a tacky Tina. Be a very professional person, okay? Reach out to people sincerely. Listen, I know you own a house. I know the market can be a little bit scary right now. Do you have any questions? For example, do you want to know what this market's doing? Are you worried about your house at all? Is there anything I can help you with? Okay, we are not looking to force people into listing discussions, or we're not forcing people into buying discussions if they weren't already there. We are looking to help the people who are having a little bit or a lot of anxiety and uncertainty. That's what our job is. Okay, if they want to know what the market's done, it seems to give people a little bit of a relief to know that the last 7 days have been pretty much good in almost every market. Okay, so it's a little bit of a stress relief for them. And please also, guys, we don't have a crystal ball. So what you can do with people is we're just telling them, the ones who are looking for future outcomes and future forecasting, we're being honest with them. We're saying, look, we're in a period where every week is different. So we can't tell you what next week's going to be like. We can only tell you from Friday the 13th to today. That's all I can tell you. Everything else is speculative. But optimistically, here's what's happening. Now, the reason why I'm saying all this, and I'm telling you guys why we're optimistic, is you have to think on the other side of this, there'll be a massive investment into the economy. There'll be a massive investment into, mortgage deferrals and things like that and all that kind of stuff. And there usually is followed by a rebound. So that's why I'm kind of saying is it's about right now is the time where you stand up and you say, okay, let's be compassionate about the people who need help. Let's reach out and help them. Let's work together. I've given you probably 14 different ideas. You don't have to implement 14 different ideas. But what I would like you to do is after this call, understand that you have a small window to physically reach out to people to ask if they're okay with real estate, okay? If they have any real estate questions that they need answers to or help with. That's what we're here for. Be the resource. Be careful what you're posting. Be careful what you're sending out. Like I said earlier, I'm very cautious about this. We print a lot of documents and we share a lot of documents, but you need to make sure that your brokerage supports them and that they're legally binding enough for you. We shared a clause document printed by Royal LePage, and we're really grateful that they shared the clauses with us, but you still have to make sure that they're supported by your brokerage. And I would definitely share them with a lawyer and say, what do you think of these clauses? Is there anything wonky about them? Because the last thing you want to do is put in clauses or conditions that are going to stop a deal from closing at a lawyer's office. That is also something that a lawyer will tell you that they don't want to see. So I think I've given you guys a ton of ideas, and I think I've really helped with that. But here's the thing, guys. We're staying very optimistic. I believe in optimism. I also believe that the biggest moments of challenge are the biggest moments of growth. And I believe that what I'm seeing the most of right now is I'm seeing some of the most powerful leaders in real estate who aren't afraid to step up to the table and say, you know what, this is not the time that I'm concerned about, how strong are we building our business. This is a time where I'm saying it's our chance to be the leaders that we know that we are. Okay, it's not the easiest for you guys, and I get that. I'm hearing you guys really, just giving everything you've got. Understand it's a window. So the way I'm looking at this, and maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but in my head, I'm looking at it going, this is a chapter. This is just a chapter. And in the big, big book of life, this is going to be a chapter that's not only going to change the real estate industry because everything's moving to virtual, as you can see, but it's a moment in time where we can really change the public's perception about what we're capable of doing, about how we're there and how we help other businesses. And it's probably going to have an impact that I think for our industry is going to be amazing. It's going to be really amazing. So this is a time to help other realtors. I'm seeing some posts as well, guys, where other realtors are cutting other realtors down. They're going, oh, look at that person's post. All of a sudden, they're a philanthropist. That's not good leadership. That is really terrible leadership. This is not the time to be, posting that you don't like somebody or you don't like what people are doing. This is a time where you have to be empathetic to what other people are doing and what role do you want to be seen as in contributing to keeping our economy going, keeping other businesses going. How much of a heart do we have, and pivoting into creative ways of doing business. There is nothing wrong with keeping your business going, and there is nothing wrong with buying and selling houses, but there is definitely something wrong if we're not abiding by what our government's telling us to do, by social distancing, and really taking this at a level where we're compassionate about what other people are going through. Not everybody is going through a great time, so we can be compassionate about it, but we can also do great things like I shared with Scott, like I shared with our cleaner. You know what? I didn't know if that was going to work. I didn't know. I just knew that I could pay the cleaner. So I was like, I'm going to pay the cleaner. And I said, why don't you just, I'm a business coach. Why don't you just go ahead and send out the email and see who bites? If you get 30%, maybe you can keep your company going. 70% of people wrote them a check. They will live for 30 more days in their company, and they are literally, legitimately like, I feel great. I'll lose everything I have if I have to, and I'll still try to save other people. And somebody asked me the other day, they said, how's this impacting me? And I said, well, first of all, I said, everybody can see things differently. Everybody knows I invested in mutual funds. I high risk mutual funds, by the way. So any of you who feel, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but I was advised, do not look at my mutual funds. So I am not looking at all. I looked once and I had a mini heart attack, just a mini one, but I'm looking at it as a chapter, and I'm looking at it as a paper loss, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, it was terrible to see, but I'm also looking at it and I'm going, this is not the time for me to panic the hell out and start liquidating everything. You know what I did? I looked and I said, do I really need a Netflix account? Do I really need it over the next 3 months? And the answer was no, I'm not doing that. Do I really need anything, unfortunately, that was not important? Like I said at the beginning of the call, coaching to me is important. I have 5 personal coaches. I have not let one of my coaches go. The reason why? They took me to where I am right now. I am not going to drop them. It's just that simple. I won't do it. I'll drop Netflix, I'll drop Starbucks, I'll drop everything else in my life before I drop the people who have helped me. I have not laid off anybody in our company, nor will I lay anybody off in my company. But what I am going to tell you I'm going to do for the people who are in my company, my employees, my coaches, all the people who have stood up and supported me, you got to know, when we're on the other side of this, they have a massive surprise waiting for them. We retained our clients. We're putting our clients into great production. But the most important thing is my attitude as a leader is as strong as it's ever been. I am showing my team, I am showing my clients, and I am showing the world that I am here, that I am not hiding, I'm not ducking, and I am built for this shit. So I'm like, this is what I'm here for, and I am here to say that this is a chapter. How you choose to show up in the chapter and what you choose to filter into your attitude and your mindset is what is going to be the written portion of your chapter. So if you show up as a strong leader and you've done great things and you've really led the right way, you have created a chapter that will change the rest of your life, change other people's life, and it will grow your business to epic levels down the road. If you choose to show up in this chapter as something different than that, then understand that choice too will have a different outcome to the story. Not every book ends in a beautiful way. Sometimes I've read a book and I've went, that is like the worst ending ever. So let's choose to write this chapter in the way that we want to write this chapter. I'm behind you guys. I will be behind you guys. So again, you don't have to do everything that I've said on this call, but I want you guys to know that it's 1 week at a time. So get through those database calls, reach out, care about other people, be cautious about what you're writing, take some of the ideas, put them into play, and just remember, keep moving forward. Every week that goes by is a week closer to the chapter ending. Okay? It doesn't mean it's going to end in a week, but it means we're week 1 down, most of us. Okay? Some of us are on week 2 on this phone call. The chapter has an ending. Every chapter does. So show up strong, show up powerful, show up the way that you want to remember this chapter by. And if you need help, or if you know anybody that needs help and you need a quick call, quick advice, whatever, find me. I will align you with some of my best coaches. I will align you with myself. Whatever we can do to help, we are there to help. So go kick the shit out of this weekend, contributing, checking into other people, and being really positive. And remember, Every week that goes by, we're closer to this chapter ending. There is an ending in sight. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we absolutely know that there will be an ending in sight, and this won't be a 10-year chapter, guys. This is 1 week at a time. All right? So go, be positive, be strong leaders, and again, make me super proud because I'm going to be creeping all your asses on Facebook and everything else just to see what you guys are doing. And we will recircle back on Monday, and I will have more updates, more creative, awesome ideas, and wait till you see the frigging lineup of calls that we have scheduled for next week. Unbelievable. All right, guys, go. We'll talk later, and thank you very much for supporting this call and supporting change in the industry and all the other people who are depending on us. Talk to you later. Bye.